Coimbra is 200 kilometers north of Lisbon and 125 kilometers south of Porto. In today's video, I'll take you on a walking tour of this city and give you a brief introduction to it. You are looking at Largo de Partagee, the main square into Coimbra. This is the historic building Bank of Portugal, and behind it, the Hotel Astoria, which was built in 1926. Both of these buildings were built by the same architect. Notice the attention to detail that makes up this building. And in the center of this square is a local politician from 1842, Joaquim Antonio de Aguiar. This small square at one time was the gateway to the city. Now let's head on in to the old town. Two things I quickly noticed while walking into the old town were the colorful buildings and the many eating establishments they have outside. Look at these big pastries. Never seen anything this huge. Whole bunch of them. Wow. Little flaky like burritos here. Look at that. Walking on the old mosaic tiled floor gave me the feeling of what it must have been like to be here many years ago when this was first made. Notice these old style buildings. This is the old town in Coimbra with the balconies and the cobblestone walkways. Look at this, shade, cool breeze, blue sky. Wow, this is really something. One of the neat things that I've come to appreciate in Portugal are these big murals that they'll pop up on the side of the building. You never know when they'll pop up, but when they do, they look really nice. This is another look at that building with a mural on it, and notice how it kind of pops against these colorful buildings here. And that building right there with its tile on the outside, very similar to what I saw in Lisbon. So that architecture style continues up here in Coimbra as well. You are looking at the Church of Santiago. It is an amazing church with great history behind it. Built between the late 12th and early 13th centuries, it is one of the great Romanesque monuments of the city, and it is classified as a national monument. So now I'm going to give you a panoramic view of the area that this church is in, and then I'm going to go inside the church and give you a little bit more information of this church. And there's the steps, so let me go on up. Now let's go inside and take a look at the church. First construction began before 957. It was rebuilt in the last decade of the 12th century. The church interior has 3 naves and 3 chapels at its head. Although it has undergone several modifications over the centuries, the most radical intervention took place in the 1540s, when a second church was built over the early church to serve as the city's mercy church. This addition was removed in the restoration work in the first half of the 20th century. The shops here are resourceful. Notice how they use every bit of space to sell their goods on the outside of the store. One of my favorite things in walking through these old towns, you never know what you'll see when you come out of an alley. This one, there's another alley that way, a little square in here, and then another alley to the left. And check out these buildings high atop. These are apartment complexes, and they have a little random fountain in the middle also. So it's kind of neat. It's always a surprise when you come out of an alley. My favorite part of the city is the old colonial style architecture with its balconies, tiled and colorful buildings. Notice that skinny pink building there. That looks pretty nice, the way it pops against the white background buildings. But the main lure of this city is the university. The University of Coimbra is where some of the brightest minds attend, and during graduation, the students are out partying and performing. I was lucky enough to catch a performance live. After that stellar performance by the students, I continued on with my walk. I came upon the Santa Cruz church. This church is a national monument because the first two kings of Portugal are buried in the church, it was granted the status of National Pantheon. The church was erected between 1132 and 1223. Notice the tile on the walls of the church. This is convenient. They have signs throughout Coimbra directing you to points of interest, so you're sure not to miss anything. The sign directed me to this little gem. It is called the Mango Garden. This is a Renaissance architectural work with fountains. It has been classified as a national monument since 1934. The garden and its structures date back to 1528 when it was built as a monastery's fountain. The water features were inspired by Arabic architectures. Wow, look at this building. This is a real old-time classic building that if they put any effort in to restore, it would be absolutely fantastic. And here's some more of the university students. I'm not sure what they're up to, either trying to get into a fraternity or sorority, or maybe even getting an early start on Halloween. I really like what they did with these row of buildings here. They restored them and then they painted them with bright colors so they really stand out and give it that extra pop. This is something that I saw when I was in Berlin, Germany, buildings similar to this with bright colors. Taking a closer look at one of those buildings, it turns out it is an American-style restaurant, and I like this. They have Lady Liberty, Statue of Liberty, with a burger in the left hand holding high atop of her head an ice cream cone, so very nicely done. This sculpture is a tribute to those that fought and died in World War I. It was erected in 1932. These are the steps that will take you up to the University of Coimbra. See that wall right there? That is the San Sebastian Aqueduct. It runs in front of the Botanical Gardens. The San Sebastian Aqueduct is built over a previous Roman aqueduct, and when completed, it was a driving force in the growth of the city, as it brought fresh water into the city center. The aqueduct has 21 arches and has been classified as a national monument since 1910. From high atop Coimbra, this is a view of the Mondego River and the city below. This is a shot of the Hotel Astoria, the Bank of Portugal, and high atop the hill in the distance, the University of Coimbra. If you would like to see my other videos on Portugal as well as Europe, please click on the link now. Thank you so much for watching.